Hello everyone. So tonight I'm going to be picking one of my Master Lock 140 series. Just to kind of show you, I've mentioned this in other videos. These I believe they're M12 keyways that they use on these Master 140s as opposed to the M1. They're quite a bit tighter than the M1 keyways, but having said that, there's not nearly as much slop in these solid brass padlocks as there is in these number 3s. I have no idea why they consider this a white belt and this a yellow belt as far as the LPU belt system. If you're not familiar with it, basically somebody had the idea of making a belt ranking system for lockpicking, which is cool and everything, but you know, as I've said before, locks are subjective. You have, just because, something's a white belt doesn't mean it's not going to be a complete pain in the ass to pick, So you get what I'm saying. So I'm going bottom of the keyway tension with a 32 thousandths turner from the Reaper set. And this is from the Apex set. This is a 25 thousandths short hook. Let's see what we can break. Now, when I pick, I prefer to go from the back of the keyway and work my way forward. It's just, I don't know, it just works for me. Do what you want. So, this is number 4. Nice click. And don't be afraid to reset your pick. Everybody's like, there we go. Why the hell? Why am I oversetting that? Okay. Sometimes this one gives me a little bit of trouble. It's very, very easy to overset that last pin. Very easy to overset it. There we go. Maybe. There we go. See? Which brings me to the whole point that I wanted to make this video. I wasn't saying, binding on 4, nothing on 3, yada, yada, yada. What happens a lot of times with these 140s, in my experience, is you'll be picking, and while you're doing that, the shaft of the pick will be hitting and setting other pins in your plug. So it's just a weird thing about these 140s. That's the only thing I've run into as far as locks. Come on. There we go. Got it open again. Because that's the thing too, is it'll lock on the side without being in the other hole. But yeah, so I'm gonna do that again because I feel almost like I'm cheating, but hey, if you get an open, you get an open, and that's just. Okay, that's 4. Very, very, very easy to overset in these locks. Like I said, they're not nearly as sloppy as as the number 3s, but Why do I keep oversetting that pin? There we go. And again, open. So, not gonna lie to you, I'm new to this YouTube thing, and it's really, really friggin' weird. You know, you're looking through the camera, then you're looking at the lock, and you're looking through the camera, look at the lock. It's just, you know. Anyway, so that's how to single pin pick this bad boy. These... because there's no security pins apparently in the past couple of years, and the 140s sold in the US, they can also be raked. I've never tried this with a quint. Maybe I should have stuck with what I know. Make a liar out of me. Yeah, so that's the thing, is I have a couple of these that you can rake, and they rake just fine. But some of them, like this guy, is giving me a hard time. I can't remember which ones. Take that, you prick. I guess not. Let's see. This is actually a lock noob profile. Monith, I believe they call it, that he worked with multi-pick to make. Really, really cool profile. Come on. There we go. See, sometimes you just... sometimes you got to throw a few things at the guy first before he decides to open. Excuse me. I don't want to assume the gender of my locks, even though they have a giant gaping hole in the bottom of them. I know a lot of guys like that too. But yeah, so one of the cool things about these as well is, if you're not familiar, this is called a comb pick, and basically there's a design flaw with these locks that, to my knowledge, has still remained largely unchanged. And what that is, this flaw, is that if you don't know how pin tumbler locks work, basically you have come on, focus. You have a pin down here that your key hits, and there's a pin up here that your spring is driving. So you get your driver pins and your key pins. And when you put your key in, the break between those two pins line up right here at your shear line, and that's what allows you to turn the plug and open the lock. With these particular locks, and quite a few others, you can use a comb pick like this, and it shoves all of the pins, the key pins, driver pins, everything, right up into the Bible, and allows you to open it. Now, let me demonstrate that. I don't have all the cool little teaching aids that other people do. Okay, just like that. It's open. It's like having a key. Now, there are tons of profiles. I happen to have these four right here. I have a 6 and 25 thousandths. I have a 6 and 15 thousandths, quite a bit more flexible. And there's a 5 and 25 thou and a 4 and 25 thou. The 140s can be opened with a 4. Boom. See, just like that. And this has been an exploit that's been around since the 30s. And again, it's remained largely unchecked and unfixed. And the thing of it is, there's, even if they do fix it, there's still millions upon millions of locks that are out there that, you know, have this exploit. So, you know, just like I've said 1,000 times, and you'll hear me say it 1,000 times more, locks keep honest people honest. That's about it. You know, it's kind of a messed up hobby to have, because the second you tell people, oh yeah, I'm into lock sport, I pick locks, they look at you like, oh, you know, like they don't trust you. It's like, dude, of all people that you should trust, it's a guy that's openly telling you that he picks locks for a hobby. You know, if I was actually a thief, I certainly wouldn't be telling people that I do this. You know what I mean? And to bring this up, if you look at the FBI's crime statistics, I forget, I think it was like 2018. Out of all the burglaries that happened, yes, I'm a smoker. Deal with it. In 2018, not a single one of those was done by somebody picking a lock. It was always destructive means of entry, meaning they cut the... where the hell did it go? Meaning they cut the shackle, or they whispered sweet nothings into its ear, or whatever. Something other than picking. You have two, well, to my knowledge, only two types of ways to defeat a lock, and that's destructive and non-destructive. Picking would be a non-destructive attack, whereas, you know, an angle grinder is destructive. You will leave evidence that somebody broke in to their shit or whatever. But all the FBI's crime statistics, none of it was because somebody took a lockpick and went and stole somebody else's shit. At least, not to my knowledge, not to their knowledge. You know, there's a reason why, you know, this company was started by a lockpicking lawyer. Great, amazing channel. You should check him out. He started Covert Instruments, which is the CI on these tools. Great company, but that's kind of what he means, is covert. It's a way to covertly get in, get out, do what you got to do. It's, you know, it's not in your face. Like, you're not going to see a broken lock sitting there, you know, that's been cut open. You can literally pick a lock, get in, get out, put the lock back on. So, you know, I get it, I'm kind of rambling. It's not just a pick video, but, you know, there's this stigma. You know, a lot of guys won't show their faces. Lock Noob, another amazing channel, Lock Noob. You know, L-O-C-K-N-O-O-B, Lock Noob. Really great channel. To my knowledge, he's never showed his face. To my knowledge, Bosnian Bill never showed his face. Lock Lab, Bosnian Bill, Lock Lab, same channel. Lockpicking Lawyer. I have no idea what the hell he looks like. No idea what his name is. I guess he's gotten like death threats and all sorts of shit. Him and McNally, I know for a fact, have actually gotten like cease and desist letters from lock companies basically saying, hey, dude, you're making us look bad. You know, so instead of actually fixing their product and, you know, fixing these exploits, they choose to try to sue these lock sporters that are just saying, hey, like, you know, your product is vulnerable. You know, if you're that worried about people picking locks, maybe you should make it harder for them to be picked. You know, one of my favorite things is when, you know, you buy a lock and it says, you know, pick proof. I've seen it a bunch of times. There are pick proof locks out there, but you're going to pay for them, and they're very far and few between to where there's not any exploits. You know, you see these advertisements, especially for, you know, locks like this, tough under fire, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's all good and fine. They may be tough under, you know, a gunshot or whatever. A lot of times, man, to bypass something, all you need is a little bit of finesse rather than brute force. Anyway, that's all I have for you. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, night, whenever the hell you happen to be watching this. And have a good one. Out.